The point is that, and on the Welingkar website, if you go and see, very importantly, we make sure that we put the names of the companies for who have recruited from that program separately also.
Okay. Welcome to MBA podcast. Today we are at Welingkar, which is top 3 college in Maharashtra through CET MS program, and for PGDM it is top 10 college in Maharashtra. And those who are targeting for this college, you have to perform well in the entrances, like CAT is there, ZAT is there, there is a GMAT, there is a ATMA is there for the PGDM programs. Okay, so to discuss in detail about the Welingkar college, we have a Deepa ma'am. Hello Deepa ma'am.
Hello.
Deepa ma'am will be guiding you with regards to the complete program of the Welingkar. But before that, ma'am, thank you for giving your valuable time for this conversation.
Thank you. Thank you to the Manoeuvre team. Yeah.
So, ma'am, before I start, little bit introduction about the Welingkar and list of the courses available at Welingkar.
Sure. So, about Welingkar, we've got 2 campuses actually, one in Mumbai and another in Bangalore. The Mumbai one is much older, of course,
yes,
but even the Bangalore campus is now 15 years old.
Okay.
So, it's not a baby campus anymore really. The beauty of Welingkar is that, while we have the regular PGDM core, which has your specializations of marketing, finance, HR and operations, way back in 2000 itself, what we realized is that if everybody is going to get into the same zone and the market scenario is changing.
Okay.
So in 2000 and 2002, the IT sector and the .com bust happened and all of that, it needed a different set of people. SAP, ERP, all of that was growing at that time.
Right.
And you needed people who understood business and technology both.
Correct.
So we said, a regular MBA program, while it offers an introduction to all of this, what if we have a program which merges both technology and management understanding?
Correct.
So that's when we started the e-business program.
Okay.
And at that time we met a lot of industry people and asked them that would they see value in something like this, and they were very happy that we were starting something on those lines.
Okay.
And that's when Welingkar realized that apart from the regular PGDM program with specializations, we have to also have sectoral PGDMs, so to say.
Okay.
Or PGDM programs with a focus on new age skills.
Okay.
So in we have 8 programs.
Okay.
One is the regular PGDM,
okay,
which has the 4 specializations.
Okay.
Then we also have PGDM e-business, which also has all the 4 specializations. This is something a lot of people don't know.
Can you name the specialization, ma'am?
It's marketing, operations, HR,
okay,
and finance.
Finance. Okay.
So these 4 specializations are also there in the e-business program.
Okay.
So let us say you are a student of finance,
okay,
and you're not afraid of technology.
Okay.
We would then introduce you to how technology can help make a change in businesses. How can it contribute? So you've come back with finance and you've come with now an understanding of technology and management, so you can work in the fintech field, for example. Yeah. So because today no role in industry is just plain vanilla. Say if you're a marketing professional, you can't just understand the basics of marketing and get into an organization.
Correct.
They're going to ask you, what do you know about digital marketing? Do you know about affiliate marketing? So many formats are there which are technology driven. So you can't say I don't know this today.
Right.
All right. So you have to have a blend of skills.
Correct.
Similarly, we started a program in retail management.
Okay.
That also has marketing, finance, operations, and HRS specialization. And we have research, PGDM in research and business analytics. So analytics is a hot cake today. Everybody is talking about it. But what does it really entail? So there's something called HR analytics also. So with so much of data, see, 15 years back, we did not have data.
Correct.
Now there is an overflow of data. So when you have an overflow of data, you need some skill sets to handle that kind of data.
Right.
So whether it is HR, whether it is marketing, whether it is operations, finance, or any other specialization that you may have, the skill set to handle that data and to make some business sense out of it is must have for all MBA students. So what we do is we ensure that this skill is imparted across all our PGTM programs.
There is a big data program, there is a AI also.
So AI and AI ML and these new age skills are taught to all the students. So we have a course called Emerging Technologies, and that is an introductory course that is given to all students. And then depending on the type of program they have chosen and the skill sets required, we introduce them to technology in that particular sector. So if we have a program in media and entertainment. So the technology required for media and entertainment program is different from technology that you may have to use as an analytics professional. So we introduce them to technology in that space. But technology is a must-have, and it's an important and integral part of all MBA programs at Welingkar. Yeah. We then have a program in business design. Now this is one of the most unique programs we have. We started this way back in 2007. And at that point in time, we worked with IDEO, which is the world's most innovative companies, to propagate design thinking. And we also worked with Stanford Design School. We had a couple of people from there who came in and oriented our faculty and students in that space. And we also introduced this concept to a lot of CXO level people at that point in time. So 2007, it was a very new concept, but today if you look at the speech of any forward-looking organization, design thinking is part of the boardroom thinking. So whether it is Mr. Anand Mahindra or whether it is any of the larger groups, they understand the importance of design thinking, which is really about putting consumer first and thinking from a different and empathy point of view to the problem solving. So design thinking is a program that places students across business sectors.
When we say design thinking, it is more of a Adobe, Photoshop, Illustrator?
No, that's what it's not.
It is not.
So design thinking is not about graphic designing, it is not about textile designing, it is not about beautification of products, it is about an approach to problem solving. So let us say you want to increase the type people who have a bank account. And today you are talking about inclusive banking. So many people already have bank accounts. So tomorrow if I want to say people who are working in housekeeping companies, your maids or you want them to have bank accounts. How will you make that happen? So you have to think from their perspective. You have to understand their problems and their limitations, and then you also have to know the rules and regulations of banking, and then find a solution which fits both. So you have to design a solution that fits that particular consumer. Design thinking starts from empathy thinking. Look from the eyes of the user, and not from the eyes of the company or the creator.
Then only you can design it better way.
Absolutely. So design thinking, Google is full of design thinking solutions.
One more thing, ma'am, I want to add here. Design thinking, in layman, I think all the viewers, those who are watching this video, it is more of a problem solving.
Yeah, you can call it creative and innovative thinking. You know, for lack of another word, it's about creative and innovative thinking, but you have to use your critical skills.
Correct.
Okay, so it's not like if you are a great, if you're great in drawing, then only you can take up this course. No, it's got nothing to do with that. It's about how you're able to innovatively think through.
So I think this course much more helpful for all the entrepreneurs.
It's great for entrepreneurs. It's also great for people who have a creative mindset.
Correct.
Okay, so and again here a lot of times students think that creative mindset means I will end up working in an advertising agency or I will work in the marketing role. No, we have had an HDFC bank take students from design thinking, because end of the day any business which has a consumer is going to need innovative thinking.
Okay.
So design thinking is a tool for innovative solutions, creating innovative solutions.
So basically consumer mindset or the psych or the requirement one have to understand properly and accordingly create the product which will be useful for them.
Yeah, absolutely.
Using the technology.
Yes, today using technology also, because if you want to make it scalable and quickly reachable and low cost, then technology is an integral part of it.
Right. Yes, ma'am. You were continuing with the courses.
Yeah. So I told you about PGDM, e-business, research and business analytics, retail management program, media and entertainment. Then we have two programs which are very special. One is the rural management program and the healthcare management program.
Yeah.
So the rural management program is targeted for students from agribusiness background or for students who want to get into the rural business of any organization. So if you take an HUL or even you take a let's say an edtech company today, they are looking at expanding their market. The metro markets are saturated, so they are going to look at new consumers. Where are these people? Tier 2 cities, tier 3 cities. That's what is going to happen, or that's already happening. How do you reach out to these people? You have to understand their psyche.
Correct.
This is one way for one approach. Then there are other businesses like food business, you have real estate business, and you also have businesses done by people in rural India or semi-rural areas, and they are looking at markets. So you're looking at supply chain solutions for them.
It has a great market.
Correct. So reverse also is equally important.
Correct.
So we are looking at both, and we are looking at farm equipment, food products, cold chains, businesses. We are also looking at people who want to entrepreneurs who want to kind of create solutions for rural business persons, or create a supply chain for people in rural India to reach their markets.
I want to add here, ma'am, all the viewers, those who are watching this video, rural management का मतलब ये नहीं है कि आपको खेत में जाके काम करना है, ठीक है?
हाँ, पर खेत में जाके देखना तो पड़ेगा. It's like बैंक में काम करना है, तो you should know what a bank is. So rural you have to understand, but it's not like you rightly said. The impression is
that way कि अगर मैं rural management कर रहा हूँ तो I have to go to the field, I have to do farming and etc. It is not like that. It is a very good market which is upcoming and which is booming, and very good option you can consider. Last one, ma'am, we want to talk about it. That is healthcare management. Many of the TISS students appear for the examination. They apply for the MHA MPS program. But Welingkar also have this healthcare management program. So can you put some light on it?
Sure. So the healthcare management program, we really got together because we had business and management expertise, and we saw that in the healthcare sector, if there is a chain of hospitals which are wanting to grow, whether it is frugal healthcare centers, that is basic healthcare centers or hospitals, there's a project management involved in the whole thing. But for that you have to have an understanding of healthcare business. Ka project management is not the same as some other business ka project management, because healthcare is also service industry. So if there is somebody who has an understanding of sciences and the healthcare side of the story.
Yes.
We want to educate them about business and management, because you have to be sustainable as a business. Even अच्छा करने के लिए जिंदा तो रहना पड़ेगा ना.
Correct.
So you have to make business sustainable. And we find that there are a lot of pharma students, students with the sciences background, dentists, even doctors, sciences as in your microbiology, all of these. Many of them are looking at various options, and not all of them see themselves working in pure sciences after a certain point, and they are looking at working in the corporate sector. So where can they work? So if you're looking at the corporate sector of health side, then you have pharma companies, you have medical devices, you have insurance companies, and you also have hospitals and allied businesses related to hospitals. But they need somebody who has an understanding of both sciences and hospitals and related healthcare related services and business and management.
Want to add one more question here, ma'am. If all the viewers, those who are watching this video, this is for you. If I'm applying for the healthcare management at Welingkar,
sure.
So being a student, what background one should have and what are the parameters they should consider?
So like you started off, they need to give one of those entrance tests which we take, which is either the CAT or XAT. If they're giving GMAT, that's also acceptable to us.
ATMA is also there.
ATMA is there, and CMAT is an exam that we are currently accepting. Background wise, we are looking at all the specializations which I just shared, which is you can be a pharma student, you can be a B.Tech, an engineer who wants to get into the healthcare segment. You can also have a technology background and you're wanting to, because now healthcare analytics is also a very big field. So most of these backgrounds we look for. Normally I don't see too many commerce students taking this field, because they also have to learn about the domain knowledge of that sector may be limited for them. But if somebody is very keen about it, we don't really stop them, but normally we prefer students with these backgrounds into that particular program, because they tend to do better in that space.
So if you want to apply for this course, these are the criteria which you should consider.
Yeah, I see a lot of pharma students, and they are very academically oriented. If I go into a class, I would know that you're a science student just from the type of questions you ask me, which are very focused, very specific. You're looking at a 0 and 1 answer kind of a thing.
More of a rote learning.
They want to be sure about everything. They're also very sincere in their approach towards academics. So sometimes you need that kind of a background for this particular kind of sector. And by virtue of that, they also sometimes are limited with the kind of options that they are either exposed to or they know about. So what I'm going to urge you to do is, look up the kind of organizations, go to their websites or go to a LinkedIn and just check what are the kind of roles people with your background are having today in industry. And that will tell you that, business and management education can give you that first step into that industry.
That is a good way actually. So coming to the question, ma'am. So the first question: today an individual from any stream want to pursue MBA, majorly for placement and high salary. So is MBA is for everyone, or there has to be some criteria?
Okay, so MBA is an inclusive science, so anybody can do it. But one very important thing that you have to remember is that while it may seem like an aeroplane which will take you from a salary of nothing or a low salary to a much higher role and a better package, you are the pilot. At best the institute is an airline with the brand name, but you are the pilot, and you can either crash land it or you can have a great flight and land on a great place. So very important is it's open to everybody. It's an inclusive science. So you will see even the IIMs and everybody else today is saying we are not only wanting engineers, we want people from humanities, we want people from sciences taking up management, because all types of businesses don't require only engineers.
Correct.
They are open to, you know, other fields as well. And management is a, I would say it's an art and a skill. It's not, you know, and also a science. So it's not like, you know, it's not restrictive in its approach. So anybody can do it. You don't have to feel restrained, but you'll have to put in the effort, and it's 2 years. So that's a grind that you should be ready for. I mean, we just had a internal Smart India hackathon which we conducted.
Okay.
Of course, with the government it will happen later.
Okay.
Yesterday. So from yesterday 6 p.m. to today 6 p.m. 24 hours. It's non-stop.
Oh.
And they have been given a challenge and they're working on it. Of course, they take their nap breaks and everything else, but you have to be ready to put in the rigor that an MBA asks for. It cannot be 9 to 5 and 3 hours of studying or rote learning before exam. It doesn't work like that.
One more question I want to add here, ma'am. If any aspirant or the student planning for the MBA,
Yeah.
so they think if I get this college, everything will be sorted. But when they get into the college, then actual, you know, MBA preparation start.
Yeah.
Okay. And so what are the things which they learn and they should inculcate? That is more of a profile building question.
Okay. You mean to say once they are into the college,
Yes.
or before that?
Before and into the college.
So, if when you're doing your graduation, if you think that business and management is an area that you want to explore, then I'm going to, you know, one way that a lot of students make their choices is they reject things. They said, you know, I'm not good with numbers, so मुझे finance नहीं करना है. I am not good with X, तो मुझे वो नहीं करना है. So, great time to find out क्या नहीं करना है is your graduation years.
Correct.
So, if you hate numbers, go and try working with some small company or do an internship with the company which makes you do numbers. So that way you are at least damn sure that you don't want to do this. All right, that's one approach. The other approach could be, you know, you pick an area if you know that you're really interested in this. That also may be biased because you may have seen somebody work in marketing and you think it's all very glamorous and beautiful. Part of it is, yes, it is, but it's a lot of hard work. And let me tell you, you have to have the guts to accept rejections. If you're not the kind of person to, you know, if somebody says, no, I don't want to do business with you, you're going to feel depressed. Then boss, marketing and sales is not for you. So, and it's not only about, you know, being able to talk well. Today, you have to understand a lot of analytics of marketing also, because a lot of data is available and anything must be counted, kind of a thing. People think that, you know, I want to interact किसी के साथ, so मुझे HR लेना है. So that तो my receptionist interacts with a maximum number of people. So इसके लिए HR करने की ज़रूरत नहीं है. If you want to do HR, then HR really is about multiple things. It starts from recruitment. It is about learning and development. It is about numbers in HR, very important, compensation and benefit. The HR function works with the leadership of the organization usually. So you have to know people management, and it is not about being good with people, but you have to learn to manage with different types of people. So during graduation, it might be a good idea if you can try and pick up a short internship, and just to improve your, if you're doing a BMS which is a little more generic, then try and pick up some courses online which are available either free at NP, you know, you have the NPTEL courses of the government, the SWAYAM courses, or you can go to the Udemy, the Coursera's and everybody else around the world.
Right.
I think that will be a great way of profile building.
Okay.
And once you're into the institute, every project that you get across different subjects is really a fantastic way for you to build your profile, because I always tell this to my students. We must have seen Three Idiots, no?
Okay.
And they're writing the paper, they come in late,
right.
and then they ask, Amir Khan asks the invigilator, तुम्हें पता है हमारा नाम क्या है?
Right.
And हम कौन हैं? This is तुम कोई भी हो, मैं नहीं लूँगा. and so he realizes that this guy doesn't know, and he mixes up all the papers.
All the papers, right.
So this guy cannot really differentiate. So when you come into an institute, you are like that. You cannot differentiate.
Correct.
So if I have to remember you, then you have to do something special. Or when a bunch of resumes go to a company today, AI tools are differentiating whether you are good enough to have a personal interview or no.
Correct.
So how are you going to no, there's no human being who's going through 2000 resumes today.
Correct.
It's an AI tool which is going through your resume. So how are you going to stand out?
Interesting.
So unless you put in some projects over there which are special, which are customized, making that cut is going to be difficult. So add if you want to make a profile, even if it gets mixed up, you should be able to pick out your resume. What can you do for that beyond attending classes? Yeah.
Right. Amazing, ma'am. Very nice.
Yeah.
So next question, when should aspirant think about MBA? After graduation or after work experience of few years? Because this is a very generic questions. Student have like I should pursue MBA now, right after graduation. My graduation is up. I'm appearing for my graduation. Along with that, I will prepare for my entrance examination, and I will write entrance. I will crack it. I will start my MBA.
Okay, so you let me be honest. If we are going to say that, preferably, I would say have at least a year of experience or two. That is the best, because you now have been in the real world and you know what are the challenges, and somewhere the kind of baby fat after graduation goes away. The real world kind of brings in some reality check about what we ought to do, and then you understand the value of that education and how it can change your life. So if you can afford to work for 2 years and gain that experience, ideally that's really the best. But I've also seen that there are some freshers who are exceptionally good. So I can't say don't apply, but it's always a plus point to have some bit of work experience and then apply.
Or maybe internship.
Yeah, or an internship. And I can certainly say that if you're a non-engineer, I don't know so much about engineers, but if you're a non-engineer, during your graduation years, certainly try and do some part-time work. Make some money, because it teaches you the art of, creating some kind of worth for yourself.
Right.
And also learning to work with 2-3 people with different temperaments,
right.
Learning value of discipline and commitment to what you have told you will do, and I think that will show in your interview. So if you really don't want to work after graduation, you want to continue your studies, then this could be a good way of picking up some work ethic and skills.
Right. Okay, ma'am. Next question is interesting. It is about the interview. What are the reasons for conducting personal interview and PIQs?
Yeah,
to shortlist or select candidate.
Right. So everybody is asking me about this. What is this PIQ? Personal interview questionnaire, and what is the reason for an interview? So PIQ is our format of trying to find out certain personality aspects of the student.
Okay.
And not everybody, as an interviewer, we have to be humble. Not all of us are equipped to find out those personality characteristics of a student.
Correct.
So we can, with experience, of course, the interviewers can do that, but there is variations in that. So the PIQ is a set of questions that are asked of you, which tells us about your softer skills, which tells us about your leadership quality, what type of leadership quality you have. It tells us a little bit about your people engagement.
Right.
How open you are, how closed you are, and what type of a situation, how are you, likely to respond, those kind of things. And when you add this to the type of management program you're doing, then we can see whether there is a fitment.
Okay.
If you're a person who is best dealing with data, and you're not a kind of person who enjoys so much of people engagement and all of that, it's unlikely that you're going to succeed in a program which requires that.
So does it include psychometric test as well?
Yeah, so it involves your psychometric aspect is there in that.
Okay.
So it talks about various aspects of your personality.
Okay.
And so there is no right or wrong answer in this whole thing. A lot of times students are trying to guess and find ingenious ways of giving the right answer.
Okay.
So if I ask you, do you like to write with a ball pen or a
Gel pen.
a gel pen or a fountain pen?
Mm-hmm.
Whatever you say is okay.
Yes.
It's your choice.
Correct.
Why you make those choices are, your own logic behind it.
Correct.
So there's nothing right or wrong about it.
Correct.
Okay. But if I want somebody of a certain personality, which involves a certain rigor, etc., then I will look for certain traits, in that student. If I'm looking for patience in that particular role, I cannot have a person who wants instant results.
Impatient person.
You cannot have that kind of thing. So the PIQ, that report actually goes to the interviewer. So in fact, it's great help for them when they are talking to the student. And why is the interview important? Because you can't just rely on a report. When you're talking to the student, you're helping them to uncover their capabilities. So students have to stop looking at an interview as a tennis match. कि अभी सर्व किया, अभी रिटर्न करना है. It's not like that. In fact, the interviewer is more curious to know about you.
Correct.
And therefore, you have to give them an opportunity to know more about you.
So that we can take the further decisions.
Yeah, but you have to prepare for that.
Correct.
Because see, if you're 22 or 27, there is so much about you. What is it on that day you want to focus? So uske liye you have to take out stuff and prepare.
Right.
The answer to an interview is prepare, not by heart answers.
Explore and prepare.
Prepare about yourself. Because we've had a situation in the past where we've asked a student, we felt the student is very good, but वो बहुत रटा आंसर बता रहा था खुद के बारे में. Tell me something about yourself. So we were like, this is not going anywhere.
Correct.
So we actually asked the student to step out. We said, breathe, be yourself and come back. We have not given you marks so far. We will conduct this interview and then give you marks.
So all the viewers kindly keep all these pointers in mind. And
So if a Deepa and a Leena and a Meena and a Tina all are the same, why should I take you? I want a person who has, who at least respects their own personality. Right? So figure out what you're good at and talk confidently about it. Another thing that a lot of students ask us is, will they ask me questions on my engineering? Come on, if you're a fresher and abhi engineering khatam kiya hai and engineering ke bare mein if I'm asking you a few questions and you cannot answer it, you're not my cup of tea, because you spend the last 4 years in a sector, in an industry, you scoring those marks or whatever that you have done. So you ought to have, an ability to apply what you have learned. Otherwise, what's the point?
Correct.
So very important that the basics of whatever education you have undertaken, whether it's in healthcare, whether it's in engineering, whether it's in commerce, whatever it is, you can't forget your basics.
Correct. So the reason behind taking the interview is still pending. Reason behind taking the interview.
The reason to take an interview is we have to know the candidate.
So that we can help them to place in the company.
Yeah, and also, also when we are evaluating you, I'm looking at communication skills.
Correct.
I'm looking at your ability to, do well in the academic part rigorously. So I'm going to ask you about what you have done.
Okay.
If you have work experience, I want to tell me what you have worked as, and do you realize what is the learning from that work experience.
Correct.
If you worked in an organization, what is the experience you've had, and उससे क्या सीखने को मिला है?
Correct.
इसकी समझ है?
And how you can implement it further.
Yes. So we are looking at a version of a student who in the next 2 years can be groomed and can be taken to level next.
Correct.
The PIQ, we give them about 1.5 hours.
Okay. One interview, 1.5 hour.
No, the PIQ is an online test.
Okay. It is completely online test.
Yeah,
It is not
absolutely.
offline. Okay.
And the students can take it from anywhere.
Okay. And it includes what it includes? Psychometric test is there.
It includes different sections
Okay.
which evaluate you on your personality.
Okay.
We have all got into a mode where we want to know everything about everything before we get into it, and that's not going to happen. So today, if there is a certain test which is, you know, a PIQ or a certain interview, there will be some element which will be new, which every institute can include as part of the selection process. And that's largely because, that's a better way of evaluating a candidate. It is not to, put people off or anything. And you cannot always prepare for everything in life. Okay, so if
Correct.
you go, there will always be something which is going to be a surprise element.
Correct.
And all the things that you have learned so far should help you deal with that surprise element.
Correct.
Yeah.
Obviously. Hey guys, hope you are enjoying all the podcasts. This was the first part of the Welingkar, where we have talked about complete course information, list of the courses available at Welingkar, who should pursue MBA, right after graduation you should pursue MBA, or after taking some of the experience you should pursue MBA. Also interview part, which is very crucial nowadays. So this one was the part 1. Very soon we will be coming up with the part 2, where we will be talking about the recruiter placement, what is the highest salary package, what is the lowest salary package, everything. Okay, so stay tuned for the part 2, and do write in the comment box next podcast you want to see of which college. Okay, so stay tuned for the part 2. All the best.